rolling.
Yeah.
You recording?
Yeah. Good evening, peoples. Go ahead, man.
How y'all doing today, man?
Good, man.
Everybody good? Everybody good? That's good. So we're here with
Start this conversation
today with Miss
Ramaya Cherie.
Your age?
14.
So I'm speaking.
And your name is?
Ramaya.
Ramaya. She's 14, and you are? Chase. And Chase is
14.
You just had a birthday, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
How was your trip?
Good.
Baller.
Good. That's what's up, man. So you gonna eat while you talking? All right.
That was a bad move. Should've waited.
You should have waited.
Probably did it a little earlier.
We cool.
Yeah, we could do a little synopsis here.
The kids do what they gonna do.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that phone got to go. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. It's another session, and of course we're here with Black Boom. And go ahead, Black Boom.
Today we're here. We feel like it's important to have a conversation with the youth. You know, try to get an understanding of where they are with this whole, new way of life. Not to get too specific, but we talking about life, after COVID, this whole COVID thing, changing the world, not necessarily for the better. We think it's important that, kind of get a gauge of where the youth is at this point. In my personal opinion, their life has changed more than the adults. They're having to deal with it more so than we are. And they're younger and impressionable. So, in my opinion, I think it's tough for them, So, I felt like we need to have this conversation. We felt like we needed to have a conversation with the youth, to kind of get a gauge where they are. So, here we are.
All right, man. All right, what's up? Very important. It's definitely important to get the youth involved, and I'm definitely in agreement with that. So we're gonna start off. How did the youth, you two, feel that about everything going on in America and around the globe in this pandemic, in this quarantine and everything? How does it make you feel? We'll start with Ramonis first. How does it make you feel?
I mean, I'm feeling different than I did before it happened.
So it's just basically.
Okay. Maybe, how has your life changed? How has your personal life changed?
Oh, I mean, I don't talk to that many people no more, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm not socially active.
And why is that?
Because I don't go out and see people.
And
so
why
I
is
just
that?
talk to the people.
Well, we want to know behind it, like what changed. Just in general, like, for people that's not aware of how things have changed. What has changed specifically, like, in your life?
I don't know. I'm just not as socially active anymore.
Well, school.
School?
How the change in school, that whole thing.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
What has changed, Maya?
I'm trying to get to it. You just keep coming.
We're doing virtual school now, for those that aren't aware. Where kids don't go to school. They do school from home. Virtually from a computer. And how has that particular thing changed?
I probably don't pay attention as much as I did if we were at school. So I feel like more people's grades and stuff have gone down because they don't pay attention during classes and stuff like that, or they don't respond towards it.
Mm-hmm. What about the whole social thing?
Some people kept in contact with other people, but I stopped talking to a lot of people. The more we stayed away from school and stuff, so over time I just stopped talking to people.
And it's very important. the longer this goes, the further people are going to get away from, you know.
Same
what they
thing with
used
you,
to.
Chase.
Yeah, how you feel about it?
How you feel about it?
I feel like we could have been like.
Speak up.
So I feel like we could have been like neighboring countries. How, because Donald Trump, he held what he was saying back for a long time, for like 3 months, and Canada only had coronavirus for like six months at most. They handled it way better. I feel like even Obama, when he was doing his thing, he said they gave them a pandemic protection plan, so they knew how to handle it, and they didn't. The whole like administration didn't use it. They didn't say anything about it. They
talking about the administration now.
Yeah.
So you say Obama set aside?
When it was during his term, he set aside a pandemic playbook pretty much.
I don't know that.
I mean, does that not seem strange to you all that he put that in place? Like, you know what I'm saying? Does that not seem strange? Like,
I think you have to have something to do. It's not even in his terms. He set out a lot of things aside for further like presidents after him. He set out a lot of things.
I think the question Sanchez is asking, is it weird that they prepared for a pandemic
I mean,
before actual pandemic happened?
Like, you know, even
ironic.
I ain't trying to be a preacher. I'm not trying to be a preacher, but even in the Bible it says there will be no more prophecy. So is that prophetic, or is that just a prediction? Or is prediction and prophecy the same thing?
Or it could just be a coincidence. Because maybe if his term was later, he could have did his term, say, 1950s. If they would have allowed it and he ran his term, he would have still probably set aside a playbook, just because of the person he is.
Are you saying Obama's just that good a dude?
Yeah.
That's fair.
So how does that make you feel though? In the pandemic, how were you handling it?
You know, I ain't really do nothing before. I just went to school, of course, and yeah, my grades before were pretty bad. I just got my report card. I had A's and B's, and now I'm kind of trying to, as long as I type pass, you know, it's just as long as I pass my grade, that's how I'm trying to work.
Any mental strain that you feel going through this, you know?
Especially weekends. Like weekends.
I'm sorry. Ramaya, any mental strain that you feel going through this? Like because you, what I'm saying is, think before this to now, to what's been going on the past
8 months.
8 months. Before, was your mental capacity different from what it is now?
Can you give me an example of what you're like?
Have you been? Has the changes that have been happening affected you mentally, like stress, isolation, causing isolation,
boredom?
People being away from people. First of all, let's go back. Your household life. Not to get too into detail about I don't want to be talking about business. House business, you know how that go, but not getting into too much detail. How has your home life changed since this whole thing? Because I've heard, and I know, through experience, that a lot of families are keeping their family in the house. That's kind of what we're being told to do, is to stay home more so and protect ourselves. So what does that really entail? Like, when you go from, being obligated to leave the house for school, for other things, ordinarily, to now going to where you're, required almost to stay home. How has that affected, your own health, mental health, social life. You know what I'm saying?
And y'all free to speak amongst each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, what he said, how's that?
I mean, we're just like, I guess, tired of being around each other. Because, like, we went from, like, not seeing each other for a good 8 hours during the day or something to, like, seeing each other every time we walk around. So I guess we're just tired of being around each other and need to take a break from each other. No, I mean, that's normal, though. And being around the same person all the time, we like.
Just to add to that, you know, we're also experiencing where people are working from home more so. So not only the kids home from school, but the parents are home from work, working from home. So everybody's home all day, you know, just to add to that, so families that were used to seeing each other a third of the day are seeing each other all day, every day. You know what I'm saying?
What you say about that, Chase? About being at home more.
I know with me and my mom, it's a really big fuss a lot. It can be anything, like anything small, big. Say like me waiting to take the trash out. Me just small stuff. It can really irk her, even though like it wouldn't have really irked her before because she's in the house more with me, and she has to do more.
Yeah, it's stressful. And not only working from home, a lot of people unemployed. So that's another thing. Don't really know where their life is going. So a whole lot going on here, man. All right, so I guess we could move on to the next one.
Okay. So, like, right now, at this point, right now, with two grown men, do you feel comfortable talking about this whole pandemic? Is it with grown-ups, or would you rather be talking to your peers about it?
Or do you even talk to your peers?
Do you even talk to your peers? Yeah.
Do you have anybody in your life that you can go to with, because I'm sure a whole lot of stuff going through your head, do you have people that you feel comfortable, See, we have what's being projected, and then we have the actual. So there are things that's being projected from the government, from, the people in control of things that aren't necessarily what's true. And me personally, I don't necessarily trust what these people say. And I know kids and teenagers are smart, are perceptive, are observant. Are there any people in your life where you can go with those observations of what you see as real as opposed to what you're being told? You feel what I'm saying? I guess we can start.
Whoever.
Like naming people?
No. Do you have the, yes or no, and just expand on it, like.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of people. I can go to a couple people and like have conversations. I usually play the game to talk to people and certain stuff because I don't leave the house. Even before I left, sometimes like went to the skating rink, did some stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't really do nothing like that no more.
Can you give us an example of a conversation that you may have with somebody on your game?
So if I'm on a game, like I said, I have a friend that lives in Canada that we talk to a lot. We play each day. And we just talk about how they already handled everything. And we just go back and forth. Just talk about overall how things are going into the two different countries.
Mm. Wow. That's deep.
Romani, what type of conversations have you had with certain people?
Or have
grown-ups?
Or do you have anybody?
Or grown-ups or your peers? Or do you have anybody?
I mean, I don't really talk to you about it. Cause, like, I don't see, like, a time to bring it up when I'm talking to my friends, so I don't really talk about it that much.
So
I
how do
think
you
the
deal with it?
pertains to that conversation.
Or do you see any contradictions or, things that don't necessarily make sense in your head about
Good question.
all this stuff?
Yeah, I do. I think about it.
But
Let's talk about it.
You don't voice it like.
No, I don't expand on it. I think about it for a minute and think about the stuff that could happen, but then I get distracted and think about something else.
Let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that right now. The contradiction that you feel. The contradiction that you feel. Let's talk about it. How do you?
Are there any?
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, in my opinion, the agenda is pretty clear. Like, as far as what they want you to see, how they want you to take it. They've been pretty consistent, even though it's all all over the place. The instructions and the demands are pretty simple. Wear your mask, social distancing, all that. All of that stuff. Stay out of groups and.
You can take your mask off while you're eating in the restaurant, but then you got to put it back on.
Yeah, I mean,
let's talk about it. Does it make sense?
So, even if, to my thing, if people still don't believe, it has to be something out there killing people. So, I don't think the government lets people check themselves in for COVID and then do something to them. So it's not anything that we can sense right now, because COVID is a virus just like the flu, always adapting, and COVID has been changing so many times. Even if they do produce a vaccine, next year they have to get another one like the flu.
So you believe in the vaccines?
So the vaccines, they say, are going to be needed to go back to school and to keep doing everything. And I think if the vaccine, like flu shots for one, if we can do the flu shots and they work, I think we should at least try the vaccines, because they are testing people to see if it works.
Would you be a test?
I wouldn't be a test subject.
But you want somebody to go and test it though?
Yes, I mean.
What about you?
I'll be a test subject?
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's kind of weird, because COVID came around, this year and the last year, and vaccines usually take, a decade or so to come out, and they're making one within, a year. So, they had to have known about it before it actually became big for them to make a vaccine that fast, because it doesn't make sense how they made a vaccine in a year when it usually takes around a decade.
So that goes back to what I was saying about
Obama. Preparation.
Is it prediction or is it prophecy? Or are predictions and prophecies the same thing? I've asked this question on Facebook, and is it the same thing?
Prediction and prophecy?
Do you know what a prophecy is?
A prophecy is like a written prophecy, or just somebody speaking and just talking.
It could be a prediction.
So a prediction is just saying, what if there's this happening? And then getting right on your prediction is a coincidence.
Well, if you say, if this is happening, then you must know something is happening, right?
Yeah, but even before, even on the Constitution, we were doing this in school. There are laws that you can if you don't believe in what they say, it's more power to the people than it is up in higher places. We have control. It's a lot of people that don't vote, and it's a lot of people that vote for the wrong person. And even though people, when they're talking to each other, you don't really know their political views. I can have a conversation with say a Trump supporter and nothing go wrong until you bring politics into it, or say something
when you say politics, what do you mean? What's politics?
So say if it doesn't, a lot of things don't change, but some people will get really angry. You don't know what either side will do. You say something, you say the wrong thing, you don't know what either side will do. they could try to hurt you. They could act like everything's normal, follow you home. They could do it's a lot of different things they could do, or they could just keep moving their day.
Ramaya. It's all good. Ramaya. Mm-hmm. Or Maya. Just call her Maya.
Maya.
Yeah.
Do you feel like COVID-19 should be a political issue?
We don't want to go that deep into it.
We done already went through all that. We basically done already covered all that. I'm just flowing.
Freestyle.
Do you think that it should be a political issue from what he's saying? Are you saying that COVID-19 is a political issue?
I'm saying that COVID-19 is really something that any politician that knows what they're doing would jump on to get votes. If they really wanted it, if they really wanted to get votes that bad, they would jump on it.
Do you feel like it should be a political issue?
I feel like it should be talked about.
Politically, should you use it for political gains?
No, I feel like you shouldn't, because some people might take it the wrong way if you don't actually expand on it and actually try to do something about it. If you just talk about it during like one of your campaigns or something, some people would be like, you're only talking about it so you can get votes from people that like don't look more into it. But the people that actually will take the time and look at it and see that the politician that's saying something about COVID but not doing anything about it is just talking about it to get votes, then it'll just make you look bad and it'll just turn back on you. So I feel like you shouldn't use it unless you're actually trying to do something about it.
What did you? Okay, Boom. What's your take on that? Cause I can go all day. I mean, I got plenty of stuff I like to keep saying.
See, I have my opinion, but I don't know if it's for this platform.
I mean, from
you know
what
how
they,
I feel about
from
it.
what they said about it.
It's hard to talk about it without including the whole thing, the big thing. Like, we're talking vaccines, right? You know, in my opinion, this thing is created as a means to an end. It's not about vaccines treating this particular thing. It's about we want people to take a vaccine. You feel me? We need a way for people.
Y'all welcome to chime in on what he's saying too.
We need a way for people to take this thing without arguing or fussing. We don't want to force it. We want people to come and ask for it. You know what I'm saying? If we offer this thing, people might turn it down. You know what I'm saying? People might opt out. But if people are asking for it, then we're, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The whole,
you know my stance.
Yeah, it's a means to an end. If I want to sell my water, I give people potato chips. You feel me? That makes sense?
To dry their mouths out.
Yeah.
At this point.
So if I offer them water and they be like, "Nah, I don't want no water," I don't want to have to deal with that. I want them to want my water and ask for it without me having to offer it. So I give them some chips and make them run around in the hot sun. Then they come to me begging for it. I don't have to push it on them. You feel me?
I definitely feel you. That's why I tell you niggas stop drinking them juices and all that soda.
I don't think so.
Well, them juices, that sugar gonna make you keep coming back.
Right.
But with everything that we have talked about.
See, another thing with this whole thing, like, right? I want to make it clear that I'm not pushing my opinion on nobody. Mm-hmm. The point of this whole thing for me is we have to protect the children. We have to protect our people. We can't just be going around, how the thing go? Going along to get along.
That's what you said.
We can't live like that no more. We can't just let things be how they are.
To get along.
It's one thing to learn the curriculum we learn in America, and as you get older, you realize how much of a lot of it is not true, or skewed, or is changed, modified, or whatever. It's one thing to allow our children to go to school and get this poison in their brains that, makes them look at themselves in not a good light, which our curriculum does. That's the intent. But it's a whole nother thing to know that our kids are walking, or we all walking off a cliff, and we know we're walking off a cliff. Our kids don't, and we still gonna just walk off the cliff? Like, that's what we doing by just allowing this shit to happen, stuff to happen. You know what I'm saying?
How you feel about that? How you feel about what your dad just said?
About
get along, go along just to get along, and being led to the cliff and walking off the cliff.
I mean, I feel like it's the people that are just going along. Like, I feel like there's people that won't just go along. But, like, if, say, a person that doesn't just go along talks to the person that is going along and they just don't want to listen because they're being told something else, then there's nothing else. The person that is truly, like, not believing everything that the person that's teaching the people that are walking off the cliff, then I feel like there's nothing that they can do about that. If the person is not going to listen to what the other person thinks because they're already thinking something else.
And that's just when you're talking to other people, but it's a whole different thing when you're talking about your child. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So, Chase, I hear what you're saying. You make sense. But is there anything that bothers you about this whole situation, the pandemic and all that? Is there anything that bothers you about it?
So one, it's a lot of things that seem like it shouldn't even be this way. One, if they give a playbook, regardless if they say it's good or bad, they give a playbook to handle a pandemic, and they handle it. Even if it was said pandemic, even if they created a pandemic, if they give you a playbook, use it. If they make a playbook to go against something they created or something man-made that they made, I don't understand why they would give a playbook. So that can show that it's possible it can still be man-made. But I don't think COVID-19 is something that came from people experimenting in China. They brought it over here with like 8 scientists brought it over here. Got to Washington, families had kids go to school, give it to everybody around the school. That's how it spreaded. So if China, the hotspot of where it came, is done with COVID, and you see how they got done with it. If you're so fixated on being the best president you can be, you would go ahead and look at China and be like, what did they do to get done with it? And that's what you could go based on that.
Hey, it's pretty observant. Ramai, any opinions? Anything? Well, the question he asked was, do you have problems with the narrative?
I mean,
issues.
I saw this one thing on Instagram about how Trump was trying to shut down TikTok while COVID was still kind of big or whatever. And I kind of just felt like while he be more focused on shutting down an app, like I get that it has trackers and stuff on it, but wouldn't you want to shut down a thing that's killing a lot of people in your country rather than something? I mean, it's still potentially a threat, but wouldn't you want to kill or get rid of something that's killing all your people rather than something that's just, an app that some people use?
He wasn't. So one, I know you said that he was banning TikTok. The petition was to ban a Chinese company to like get all their funding cut out from America because they closed their ports. We were trying to cut anything out that got physical needs from COVID. So Trump, at that point, he was doing something right. Even though he was going to ban a couple apps, he wasn't really banning them. He was more of cutting their funding for reasons that were COVID induced.
I see that.
I don't know how much y'all really do know about China, but Chase, you seem to have some kind of a little more, knowledgeable about China. What do you feel about China now, since we're in this pandemic?
They're over there. They have multiple. Their COVID pandemic is done. They're killing people for reading the Bible over there now, and it's really a lot of difference. They're becoming back to more of a dictatorship. That's what they're becoming. Some places in China. No, I'm saying if you don't need a dictatorship. You just need a strong-willed government. Even if they don't tell you everything, if they're telling you enough stuff that can help you get out of a pandemic, get out of this, I would. And also for like when I said politics, it's Trump and Joe Biden running right now. Trump is not the best choice. People say Trump is racist. Joe Biden said racist things in the past. Both of them are not a good choice, honestly. You just don't have another choice. And most black people go Democrat, most white people go Republican. It's really just split. I don't think they should have parties. I think they should have people. Because when you have parties, people they can say kill all black people. A Democrat can say kill all black people, keep the country safe, blah 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 blah. And some black people will still vote Democrat because he's a Democrat, even though the Republicans sometimes could be right. It's really just a political thing.
Teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, really.
What have we learned in this pandemic? I know I learned some new recipes. Started working out more. Started selling T-shirts. Started selling cologne. Started selling artwork. You feel me? So, what do we learn during this pandemic, being in your generation?
That's a damn good question. What? Yeah.
Bad and good. Good and bad.
How have you benefited from it?
Yeah, have you benefited?
How have you benefited from the changes? Or have you?
I honestly feel the same.
Nothing changed?
I feel the same.
Has anything improved?
Improved?
Like, noticeably since?
Speak my mind more, I guess.
I don't think anything improved. There's a lot of things that are worse, but nothing improved.
What do you feel like is worse?
So one, when there's about even weekends, when I think of weekends, when I used to go to school, when I think of weekends, I think, ooh yay, the weekend's coming. Now I think, ooh yay, more time to do my schoolwork. There's no break time. It feels like it's just all needing to be done then, and it's more. So even if we're on the topic of schoolwork, like right now I have good grades and I'm working every day of the week, including weekends, to get all my assignments done. And even, let's say social studies for one. They can tell you something, you do this. Cooking class, you do this, you do that. And math for one. She gives 2 assignments. She teaches you how to do them. Some people, they don't even join class. They're not gonna know what's happening. Some people, they couldn't join class that day because their internet was down due to a storm. They can't do this but due to this. It's a lot of things that going to school could stop. And even going to school, I see that how they're doing 2 days a week, which is fine. But if everyone's not pushed to go 2 days a week because of how you feel, I don't think nothing's gonna change. Because parents want your children to be safe. They want their children to do good. But a lot of parents, not saying all parents, a lot of parents are saying, "Oh, you're at home. Why aren't you bringing back oh, A's. Why aren't you doing this? You have all this other time to do this and that, but you don't. But you're not gonna do your schoolwork. That's a lot of most arguments start off like, you're at home. Why aren't you doing this? It's most of
So y'all have learned something. I'm sure y'all learned something. If that's the case, you learn. I'm sure you learned the difficulties of keeping a house up. You've been in the house for what now?
6 months.
6 months
at least.
So I know you see your parents or going around picking up this, picking up that, sweeping this, taking out trash. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you learn the rigors of housekeeping.
Yeah, sometimes I think when you do school, you definitely need a mental break, because when you're doing school every day, each week, and weekends, most people still do school just to be like, oh, I need to get this done, this done, this done. Right now, I'm all caught up on my assignments. But say if my internet's down Monday, but everyone's still right, I'll have 8 assignments waiting for me when I get back in class, on top of the 8 assignments I have to do for that day. Mm-hmm. So even something as small as that can get you caught up for the rest. I have done all my work, and I remember I missed one assignment, and it wasn't a test. I think it was a independent work, which is 30% of your grade, and my grade went down a lot. I got that in 2 days late because I'm still doing the work to catch up. But now I have good grades because, when I went to Atlanta, I brought my computer and work, and I did most of my work before. So I did Thursday and Friday. I didn't have to do any because I did almost all of my work that I had to do for the week. And I think they should start doing over preparing. Like when they have assignments, I think they should do all the assignments at the beginning of the week. You have a week to complete the assignments. You have till next Monday to complete all the assignments I give you.
Yeah, that's the college model.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with that.
What?
My teacher's more lenient, I guess. They give us like 3 extra days to turn something in, and if it's not turned in the 3 extra days they give us after the whole week passed through, then they like put a 50 in if it's late or something, or they take it off 10 points. They're like the whole 8 assignments thing. I get like maybe 2 assignments from each class. I have 4 classes, so I get 8, but they're not due till like Friday, depending on what it is. If it's a project, you get like 2 weeks. If it's just like a reading assignment, you get like 2 days. So.
What school you go to?
I live in Charlotte.
Well, ours are due that day by 12 o'clock at night. We have to do ours, and if you don't do it that day, 5 points get taken off. And say if you can do your best and you can get a 70. Like some people, because I don't know, I know I got 70s before because I ain't joined class at all. Like, I'm being completely honest, I ain't do no work. I didn't join class. But I had a 50 in social studies because pretty much I had to sacrifice a class to get all my other classes back up. It was either get a 50 in social studies or get a 50 in my other class while I'm getting my other grades up. So it was really just sacrificing the class to get pretty much everything else back to normal.
Sound like a hell of a dilemma.
Let me ask you this: the learning process.
Are you learning process of what?
School. Okay. Just going to school. Are you absorbing it, the material better now, or?
No. I mean, in class, on like Zooms and stuff, I usually don't pay attention. But if I still understand it, because like I still make 80s and 90s on my test, I just don't pay attention during class or anything. I just go through like the website for like all my work, and I'll read through it, or I'll look it up and read through all the passages they have on that subject and do it. But during class, I usually don't pay attention. I just read it for myself. I only join the classes so I don't get 10 absences and have to fail the class and redo it next year because I missed 10 days.
So y'all feel like this is making y'all more responsible or less responsible?
It's not making me more or less responsible. It's just making me feel like class. Because before going to school, I was like, okay, yeah, let me go to school and let me get my work done. When we got our work done in class, it was super easy. You have everybody to talk to to give you just
Help you
social.
out.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
social and even help you out if you need help. And I was in the AIG class, which is advanced, and I'm still in the advanced class. It's super hard. I don't know if they give you harder assignments than like regular class, which is decent, which is a good thing for you because it's supposedly easy for you. Sometimes it is, but then they give you super hard work. Because when I took world history, COVID hit, and it was either me taking a 90 and not getting high school credits, or me just trying to, because I had a 50 in the class afterwards because they did 2 months. I think it was a month before we even tried online school. Then we did online school, and it was still terrible. It was still hard. Like when I went to 8th grade, I don't even know when I transitioned from 7th to 8th, because we were still in like, it was still, we were still doing constant work. There wasn't no summer.
Right.
There wasn't no none of that. It was just work pretty much.
I mean, I'm in advanced classes too, but I don't really feel it any different than when I was at school because I never really asked for help that much. I was never the type of person to like raise my hand and be like, I don't understand this, can you help me? I would just be the type of person to figure it out by the answer choices. Like I keep trying stuff until like an answer choice matches or something, and I just figure it out that way. So online, it doesn't really seem that much different to me because I've always been that type of person. But I feel like more people, like different people, they probably have questions and ask people for help, like how you do. So like it would be harder for them on online school because you can't really ask for help. You just have to watch videos and try to figure it out from that, rather than having somebody right there teaching you how to do it.
Right.
But I've never been the type of person, so I'm fine with watching videos and stuff.
So the face-to-face in the class ain't really affect you, but it has affected you. I think it affects most people, man.
Like now it doesn't, because I'm getting the hang of online school. Like now I know how, because I ain't doing class all. Before I didn't even know how to do the work, because like you say, they don't give us no videos. It's either you join the Zoom or you just out of luck. If you use your phone.
Why is that so different?
What you mean?
Charlotte ain't but 20 minutes away.
Oh, the curriculum. Yeah.
Why is that
That's
so
a
different?
good question.
I don't think it's that different.
Just how they doing it, the model. Like he's saying, his assignments due every day. You
Right,
do
but why?
I mean, it depends on what the assignment is. Like some assignments that we do the same day, but most are due on Friday or Thursday, depending on what it is.
The college model is weekly.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I did
Yeah.
at the end of last year, but this year's kind of different because like there's stuff due every day, but you get assigned it like a week ahead or a few days ahead, so you're not like stressed out or anything. At my school.
So that's good dialogue, but going back to the original question, what have you learned? I want this is where I was really going with it. Everybody y'all like to buy things. You're young kids, right? You like things. So you can pretty much say that Walmart is a fun place for y'all, right? Walmart is a fun place. Get what you want. They got groceries, they got food, they got groceries, they got clothes, they got toys, they got boo 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 boo. Okay, did not Walmart shut down for a while?
Yeah, they did.
They shut down. They started closing early.
The hours, yeah.
They started closing early. But did you not ever think in your mind that it's possible that Walmart could shut down?
No,
Not
with the money they have. So for one, it's supply and demand. They would be, if anything, they would be way more in business. They would have way more.
You know, a lot of people saying that if Biden wins, Biden gonna shut everything down, right?
No, that's not. That's what they're saying because they're not reading into what he's saying. He's saying if they win, we're going back to phase 1 and restarting so we can get COVID over. Cause right now it's really like relaxed back because if we did how everything else would, they have a curfew in the UK. They sometimes now it's good now, but before they couldn't go out the house at I think it was 11 where they couldn't leave the house.
How would you feel?
I would feel perfectly fine knowing that they're doing it to make us safer.
How would you feel? How would you feel knowing that you may have to have a curfew and you may have to be in the house at 7 o'clock?
I mean, I don't really leave the house that much to begin with, so I wouldn't bother me.
I understand that, but what if they said you can't come out the house after 7 o'clock?
Then I wouldn't have to come out the house after 7 o'clock. I mean, it is what it is.
You know how I feel.
I already know, man. I already know because I'm just gonna give you how I feel about it. As far as me thinking the way I think that they can easily say, hey, you shut it down, nobody can come in. My first thought is, I better learn how to plant a garden. I better learn how to do something that's gonna keep me sustainable. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's where I was going with it. Have you learned? But if you ain't thought about it, then I guess you wouldn't be on that. You see what I'm saying? On that page, people be thinking deeper into what could possibly transpire.
Looking into the future.
Right.
How long this thing gonna stick around, and if things do tighten up, how will I be able to continue?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what we need to be thinking about. Like,
that goes back to critical thinking.
So,
but it's deeper than just critical thinking. It's thinking for yourself. Like, they tell you one thing, but that ain't necessarily the right thing. It's not necessarily the honest thing. It's not necessarily the truth.
Yeah, I think it's the truth mixed with a little bit of. I think it's bullshit. Excuse my language. Mixed with some truth. Cause they gotta make it. It's gotta be appealing.
So,
well, it go back to the whole feeding people chips if you want to sell some water.
What you gonna say?
I said it's like salt and sugar. They look the same. And hearing it from put it in the same bottle, it's gonna look the same. It's like, so what they're telling you is pretty much the bottle. What's inside the bottle is what they're saying. Truth and then lies, salt, sugar,
mixed together.
Yeah, same.
Hey, they make that caramel, sea salt,
yeah,
candy. So there it is, man. What you think? What you think about the show?
I think it's very, very important. I think it was good.
Or a conversation. I won't say show.
Yeah, it's I just think we gotta look closer at this thing, man, and it's not necessarily about us. I can feel how I want to feel about it, but it's not really even aimed at me. It's aimed at the kids. You know what I'm saying? They're not concerned with us at this point. They want the ear of the kids. You know, like he was saying, it's plain to him, you make all these changes in my life that, you know, I'm not necessarily comfortable with. My parents ain't, you know, necessarily adapting to them so well. I'm not. I just want to kind of go back to normal. What is it going to take for us to go back to normal? You know, what's the answer to that question? You know what I'm saying? You force people to be uncomfortable, so in order to get comfort back, they willing to do damn anything. What's inside those vaccines that y'all willing to do all this stuff y'all doing just to pass over some vaccines? That's my opinion. That's how I see it. It's not about COVID, it's about the vaccine.
She made a good point on how fast it came.
Yeah.
It's pretty fast when usually it's 3 to 5 years.
But a decade ago, they didn't have the technology we have now. Right now, we have some of the best technology that we have pretty much ever, because now we have microscopes, we have different things to analyze COVID, different things. So even if they did, so if COVID's man-made and they're trying to push a vaccine to us, and we take the vaccine, if there's some that deep inside the vaccine that we can't use, that we can't do, if people are gonna start dying using the vaccine, I don't understand why. Because if they wanted to, they have the military to do what they need to. Because military are devoted soldiers to America.
But you know the military is working with the vaccines, right?
Yeah, they supposedly gonna use them to implement them.
And I mean,
not force them.
I wasn't going to say this. I wasn't going to say this because I was going to wait until we got together and broke this whole conversation down. But they create viruses for computers. You don't think they know how to hack them too?
What you mean?
If you create the virus for the computer, you can hack it too. I'm sure you got the codes to hack it. I'm just, you see what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
No, the virus is so to enable you to hack it. You send a virus in an email, hoping the person opens the email to get the virus into the computer so you can hack it. You feel me?
So the vaccine could be the hack.
There it is.
I didn't want to. I might have to edit that and then come back. We're gonna break this down. You see what I'm saying? But anybody got any more? Anything they want to say? Any last words? Here's your chance right here.
So if y'all think, y'all think COVID is like man-made?
You said what now?
I said y'all think COVID is man-made.
I think most viruses are man-made.
COVID is not a new thing.
Yeah,
COVID is an old thing. It's an actual thing. I mean,
man-made.
I don't know as far as to say whether it's man-made. I think it's man-manipulated.
Yeah, like induced.
Manipulated. That's
Yeah, you don't. They
yeah, you're right. It's not man-made, but it's manipulated because dogs carry coronavirus. Dogs carry 7 strands of coronavirus. But we can't catch it. We can't catch it from animals. But dogs actually carry strands of coronavirus. So it's nothing new.
So if dogs carry it, the things that they were experimenting on, you know what they were trying to do was, you know, when they were doing it, they were just trying. They could have been finding a cure. They could have been. It's automatically if it is like induced, like manipulated. If they try to make COVID what they do, it's gonna be a two-edged sword. You killing half of your population, right? Half of the United States with this. What do you gain nothing. You don't gain anything. You lose more than you gain. You just make yourself look more vulnerable to other people. It's definitely a lot of things that it's more cons than pros. That's pretty much what I'm saying.
But you talking on a global scale, Chase, then I would have to go back the way, you know.
So
you trying to make this go a little bit further because then I would go back to what we were talking about earlier, and I was going to ask you if you want to talk about that, the robots.
Was I here?
Now you weren't here when we was talking about this. That's why I say with what you're saying, it would make me go back to what he was talking about earlier, the robots. And you was talking about what would you have to gain by losing the population.
Oh yeah.
That would go back to the robots.
Well, okay. With that being said, right?
That would make me bring that up.
Okay. They you know, automation,
AI, artificial
all that
intelligence.
stuff. Like they trying to introduce a living wage. Y'all familiar with that? See, I don't know if you get it.
No. You repeat
a living wage?
Living wage?
Yeah. Meaning
you have to pay to live.
No, they pay you to live.
Oh, okay.
So if they plan on
a world like
we can
that.
get into it later, man. When we break this down.
Just okay, in general. We just gonna
it.
talk about it real quick in general. So all this stuff is together, man. COVID, robots, all this shit, automation, AI.
Now you putting your mind state into them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how you talk about it without being real?
Okay, go ahead. Talk.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna grab me something to drink. Go ahead.
They're introducing the idea of paying people just to be alive, right? A living wage. It's not me making it up. This is something they're talking about because
You want something?
They see that a lot of stuff gonna be going in automation, jobs gonna be taken, lost, and all that. Mm-hmm. Factories, plants, and all that.
If they,
truck drivers, cars.
my opinion, if they were gonna do that, what they would have done is just, if they were gonna pay people to live and they wanted half of the population gone, they wouldn't have released no virus that could kill the people closest to them. They would have to study, because for one, you would have to do human testing to manipulate a virus to know who it will kill, how to stop it. Because if Trump has the medicine to get rid of the virus in 3 days, you have to have something tested on somebody.
You don't think they've already been doing that though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They probably have. If Trump can just take some miracle medicine to make them better, that only the president and people around the president,
and the NBA
people
too.
in power,
People in the NBA.
Yeah.
They started the whole thing. The NBA.
The NBA started what?
You remember when it first happened? All the people in the NBA was the ones getting it.
Because they was around.
Because they were in Washington. They were flying around.
Yeah, they were all close to each other.
Yeah,
they sweat and stuff.
I mean, we can make sense of it however we want, but I'm just pointing out that there was people in the NBA. All them niggas started getting it, and they was done with it in a couple of days. I'm good.
Oh yeah, that's because they know who they want to live, and if they have the stuff, they already have it. Why are we gonna take a vaccine? So my question is, if they have something that can cure corona, why do we have to make a vaccine for?
Great question.
If Trump
got
has
sick
something,
and a cold ain't over in 3 days, but Trump was done with it in 3 days.
They're trying to play God.
All right.
And they can't.
We might need to end it here, man.
They're trying to play God and they can't.
We're getting a little too deep.
That's what I say.
I think the main point of this whole thing is
pray.
I think this is the main point of it. Having these conversations, like
had a conversation.
I think with how we resulted now, where we asking questions like this, thinking for ourselves and putting dots together and all that. That was the point of the conversation. We need to think about this thing. Common sense. It's not all that deep, man. Like, it is deep, but it ain't. Like, we see things that are contradicting. We have to be real with ourselves. Even if we have to go along to get by, we can't internalize. We can't believe it. Like, certain laws you got to do, you don't necessarily believe in, but you do it just because you're told to do it. You don't want to get in trouble. That's fine. We got to kind of do this thing the same way. Do what you're told to do, but don't internalize it because
Hold it up, folks.
It's not what they say.
Hold it up, folks. Hold it up.
like this.
Oh, man.
Now say that again. Just
even
saying. Though we have to go along and get along, that don't mean you have to
adopt the doctrine.
Adopt the doctrine.
Yeah, you do what you got to do, but don't internalize it. For instance, I ain't gonna say no names, but I know people who really believe this shit, like full blown, and that's scary to me because I'm like, okay, you got to do what you got to do, but you really like.
Yeah,
really?
But there's also people like when you said teams. There's also people that I'm not saying all Republicans, but Republicans they'll go outside with no mask. Just even if you don't believe in wearing a mask, if wearing a mask makes other people feel safe and make other people feel safe and it may make you uncomfortable, but to have everybody around you and
feel more comfortable. I respect that. I don't agree, but I respect it.
And this isn't nothing against people who have been affected by COVID. By the way, just let me say that. But we're going to end it right there, man.
I think that was great, man.
I appreciate you all coming. Would y'all like to come back and do this again? Say in 3 months after you done went through a little more life in the pandemic.
3 months the election will be over. There'll be a lot of different things.
Will it be over? The election?
Yeah.
You said the election will be over?
Well, all the voting will be done. The ballots will be counted. So
Yeah.
if
3
it's
months.
going like everything else, 3
That'll be
months.
February? Yeah. We'll have a new president.
Yeah.
Not new, but newly elected. Probably be Trump.
Well, let's say in a few months.
Oh, Kanye?
Oh my gosh, people actually voting.
Green Party, baby.
Kanye?
Green Party.
Nah, Kanye bipolar. He don't know what he
I'll take Kanye over Biden and Trump.
I wouldn't.
Those are his words. Those are his words.
At least we have some dope music.
Fair enough. We gonna have the West.
Trump don't make no dope music.
We gonna have the West anthem.
Whenever you ready, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Whenever you ready. Whenever
I'll
you
cut it
ready.
off.
I can respect.
And y'all want to say anything else?
Music.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Dope
got
music.
nothing to say.
You see Trump dancing the other day? That
No.
was bad. That was bad. Huh?
I don't got nothing to say.
No closing remarks? Well, I'm glad y'all showed up.
Oh no, I said bye.
You said what?
I said bye.
Oh, okay.
Maya wasn't so hype about, speaking on camera, but she did it for me, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate it too.
I appreciate it.
I think this was a dope conversation.
Man, that was dope, man. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is probably a part one. We're probably gonna do this again. Probably expand upon it, bring other people in. This conversation need to be had for our own sanity, peace of mind, dealing with this craziness. And hey, that's it.
Keep it real. Muddy waters.
All right. Check in.